Sea Change Sand Tracks was a part of Festival 2018 for the Commonwealth Games. For us, it started years before that. We got involved in the Generate project through the City of Gold Coast, and that enabled us to workshop a series of different ideas.
Tristan sort of started saying, well, it doesn't really seem like anyone's using the beach yet. And that's one of the really important things about the Gold Coast, and we really wanted to be part of celebrating that.
We come up with Sea Change Sand Tracks as an early concept around 3 kilometres of beach between Broadbeach and Surfers Paradise that should be activated as a kind of an art path. And what to activate with? We'll activate it with socially engaged conversations around the different kind of futures and future challenges that the Gold Coast faces. And from there, it kind of just rolled on, for want of a better pun, towards a giant 3-metre wide tractor roller that rolled out artwork along the beach. Those we called Futures Maps, and those maps were the result of a website that people would interact with and go through a 5-step process to create their Futures Maps.
Food security, water security, human movement, society, climate change and conflict. So they're the overarching topics that we wanted people to start thinking about, because they're all things that, even if we're not facing them here in Australia right now, they're being faced by people around the world. So that was our starting space, and then from that there was lots of different topics that people could engage with.
So we come up with 6 themes that are on the website. Inside each of those 6 themes, there's 3 future scenarios that we put to people, and they choose one of those future scenarios, and then inside that there's over 100 icons, little images on the website that they can play with that are associated with the past, the present or the future. And in amongst all of that, they combine and shift and change, and they create a map using these images and typography and arrows and words.
During Festival 2018, as well as having the tractor rolling out giant prints along the beach, we also had our dome, which contained 8 sand trays in it, and people could access our seachange.tv website as well as engage with their hands in the sand trays. And to us that seemed like a really popular component of the Festival 2018 at Kurrawa Park. We always had huge amounts of people, often during peak times there was over 80, and it seemed to be a really interesting way for parents and kids to talk to each other and have conversations prompted by engaging with the sand, but then also by our carefully designed objects which you could print into the sand.
By the end of that 5 days, it was completely obvious that the design of those layers really worked. We had 2-year-old, 3-year-old kids up on chairs just playing with the sand, just playing and picking up an icon, looking at a picture, to seriously critical mediated conversations between groups of adults around the future challenges that we were talking about.
Trying to engage their imaginations around the form of communication we were using, which obviously is quite artistic. And in that, exploring that there's more than just talking and writing as ways to communicate. You can communicate in lots of different ways visually.
Those responses that we're getting from people are, this has made me think in a totally new way, in a different way that I hadn't been able to think before, because I've been able to make relations because of the visual prompts and the mediating prompts that you've given us to be able to make those relations. I've been able to have new conversations with my daughter or my son because this thing is helping me mediate that conversation with them.
So we're sitting here in Relative Creative Community Hub, which is where we run the Relative Creative Strategic Design Studio from.
We've taken a plunge here and opened up a kind of a large space where it's not just our design practice, our sort of strategic design practice. It's a space where we can hold design workshops and art workshops.
So we have a co-working space that has a creche attached to it, which means that parents can come and get 3 hours of work done.
Well, their kids hang out and get taken care of by a child educator. The whole practice is based around sort of socially engaged and sustainable design practices in the work that we do.